Good evening, gentlemen and ladies. I hope you're well. Welcome to Friendship Shaving. My name's Mark. I'm glad to be here, and tonight I'm going to be reviewing the Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements Travel Scuttle, which is new to the den, and I'd like to dedicate this shave to my good friend Billy Curtis, who went on his holidays to Texas and kindly brought that back for me. The soap I'm going to be using tonight is a Crown King Atmotic soap, and this is a travel soap and it comes with the Scuttle. I'm going to be using my Rubberset brush tonight, and it may not be a PAA or a Crown King brush, but it is a Crown King knot, so I'm going to put that straight in some warm water. And tonight I'm going to be using to shave with the Phoenix Artisan Accoutrement Prismatic razor, and I have a new blade in there. I find this to be a little bit aggressive, so I've put in a Centwin Super Platinum blade, and I have never used this before. I know literally nothing about them whatsoever. So the first thing I'm going to do is just run a little bit more warm water into my scuttle. I have a drop of water from the kettle already in there, but just to warm it up a little bit. You can use boiling water with the scuttle, but I find it's a little bit too hot to hold. I know with a ceramic scuttle it is recommended that you do not use boiling water, but it's okay in this. It's the first time I've ever used a scuttle, so this is going to be a new experience. You can see on the inside that there are spines and ribs embossed and printed into the plastic. And I've already prepared my face with the Nivea Men Original Facial Scrub. Now I'm going to take a little bit of this soap, which smells beautiful. I'm going to just take about that much on my finger. Let's see how we go with that. I'm going to squash that into the bottom of the scuttle, spread it around, see if I can get some good surface area. There we are, and you can see that rubber seal is quite tight. It's staying in quite well as I'm holding the scuttle to the camera. Now, I'm going to try and do this on camera, although it may prove a bit challenging. I guess the idea of a scuttle is that you create a lather in the bowl and use that to shave with. So I'll be bowl lathering rather than face lathering, and I haven't really created a lather in a bowl for a very long time, so we'll just see how it goes. It's a bit strange holding it up to the camera, I must say. Now, I think already my brush would be loaded if I was going to face lather, so I'm just going to keep adding drops of water and keep building this in the bowl. Those ridges that are inside the bowl are working really well. They're all nicely rounded off, so I feel confident that they're not going to be harming my brush in any way. And we need more water. This soap smells beautiful, by the way. It has aged oak Dogwood, Patchouli and Ginger in it. And it really is a wonderful scent. It's not one I can easily describe. Well, but there's a sweetness to it that I like. But as I said, this is only ever going to be a travel-sized soap. I read on the PAA website that this won't be ever produced as a full-size tub. Now, I must admit, I've found that a bit challenging holding that up there, but let me just show you, because I have got a shed full of lather. So I'll put that down, rinse my face, and we can get going. I don't know if you can see, but perhaps in the light there's a lovely sheen on this. It's very nice. Oh wow, I tell you what. Warm lather is very luxurious. I'm sure some of you out there have scuttles of your own. As I say, I've never used one before, but putting warm lather on your face, oh look right in the brush, it's really warm. Oh, for a cold day this would be stunning. And I wonder actually if during the summer I might be able to use this with chilled water. I don't know, it's something I'm going to have to experiment with and have a play with, but it seems like a good idea to me. Now, I know I'm not face lathering, but I nevertheless want to make sure that the brush lifts all my bristles and they all become really nicely hydrated, ready for the shave. Very good. Now my first impressions actually of the Scuttle were that it was very, very light indeed, but actually once it's filled up with water it becomes quite a nice weight. Now I've got that full to the brim, so it's perhaps a little bit heavy. Well, certainly when you're holding it up to the camera. I think it would work exceptionally well if you put it down on a surface and bowl lathered. From there. Now normally I pop my brush on the windowsill, but I'm not going to do that today. I want to make sure that all that lather is warm in the bottom of the Scuttle, and I'm going to put my brush right on top of it, and hopefully that will maintain some of the warmth within the brush. Now the razor, I haven't used this for quite a long time, so it was good to get it out again. We'll see what this blade is like. There's a little bit of overhang, actually there's quite a bit of overhang on here, so just something to be aware of. Now the information I've got is all from the PAA website, and on a personal note I quite admire Douglas Smythe, who owns Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements and Crown King, for always trying to bring new things to market. I know this Scuttle has taken 2 years to bring to market with 3 different manufacturers. I suppose it's quite difficult to make a double-skinned shuttle out of polypropylene. It is, as I've said, a very, very lightweight plastic, but it is recyclable should you decide that you don't want it anymore. It is very tough indeed. I've not tested it myself, but in the description I'll put up a link to one of Douglas's videos where he literally drops the Scuttle off a really high building and it just bounces with no damage. He stands on it. It seems to be virtually indestructible. So there's no real reason why this shouldn't last a lifetime. Now, as I mentioned Billy earlier, I'm in contact with Billy quite a bit. And before he went on holiday, I was, I just rang him up and we were chatting, and we were just talking about the Scuttle. So I was entirely surprised when he bought one back for me. Absolutely chuffed to bits. So thank you very much, Billy. Billy, by the way, has his own YouTube channel called Blind Man Shaves, if you'd like to have a look at that. But one of the important things for me, and this came up in the conversation I had with Billy, was that the Scuttle is shatterproof. Now, I've had a couple of accidents with shaving bowls. One I made myself. It was very special to me. And unfortunately it slipped out of my hand and smashed to pieces when it hit the floor. And I had another experience with my Old Spice mug, where again that slipped out of my fingers and it fell into the sink and broke the sink. So having already broken one bowl on one sink, the idea of having something that I could drop and not worry about it breaking or breaking anything else was really quite appealing. When I'm tired, I'm sure all of us do a little bit, but I'm particularly prone to losing a little bit of hand-eye coordination, and I sometimes fumble and drop things. So for me, this is a good idea. Now, the soap in here, the lather in here, it does seem to be really, really slick. It's quite watery. I've maybe added a drop too much water. If I was using a straight razor, I think this would be perfect. Nevertheless, very nice. The Scuttle is microwave safe and dishwasher safe. You can add your water to it and heat it up in the microwave, depending on how hot you like or want your water. Obviously, I've already explained that I tried to use some water from the kettle, but it was just It was just a little bit too hot because of the hollow handle particularly. You know, the water was filling the handle and I couldn't hold that bit. It's marketed as a travel scuttle, and it certainly would be very good for that. You know, it's indestructible, so it's not going to get broken in your luggage. But for myself, if I was travelling, I don't know if I'd pack a scuttle that size. Certainly if I was going on holiday somewhere and you took that with you, you would have a very luxurious shave, which is what I'm finding. But I think I'd be more inclined, especially if I was just going for a week or a weekend, whatever, I think I'd be more inclined just to put a shaving stick into my DOP bag. But who knows? Now I'm going against the grain, as you can hear, with this PAA razor. It is a copy of a razor made by the Kirby Beard Company, a very old razor. And I guess, like the razors of that time, I'm just finding it a little bit aggressive. So I'm really rolling back on this cap. I'm still experimenting with the technique that I used in last week's video. I was concentrating then. Now from the sides. I have to say as well, I have to say thank you to Leon, who sent me a sent me a picture of a Gillette razor. If you haven't seen it in last week's video, I talk about, where have I put it? Talk about this razor. And it's got 13 prongs on the open comb. It is made in England. And I pointed out that the old double ring and single ring razors from Gillette all have 14 prongs on the open comb rather than 13. Leon, as soon as you say something on video, you're almost guaranteed to be proven wrong. So Leon very kindly got in touch with me and showed me a Gillette razor with 13 prongs, which I'd not seen before. The interesting thing was that it was made in England, and I've had a look on a couple of auction sites at some similar razors and started counting the prongs on the comb, and the ones I've found, the Gillette razors I've found that are made in England, seem to have 13 prongs on some of the razors, so that's something, you know, I'm going to be looking a little more at. And you know, it's a strange thing. Now, I seem to remember reading that Gillette took over a British company called 7 O'Clock, and in fact you can still buy the Gillette 7 O'Clock blades. So whether they used part of their stock, because I'm sure that is a 13 pronged razor, whether they used part of their stock, I don't know, basically. So it was just very interesting anyway, and I really appreciate that Leon got in touch with me and put me right on that. Oh, I tell you what, warm lather is good. It's really good. Do you know, I've never really fancied a Scuttle before. Oops, bit of soap flung off there. I generally don't like the shape of them, and the old ones especially. And I know you can get some that have got, you know, a huge space in the front. Some of them are big. They've got a huge space. You can put your brush in like that. They've just really never appealed to me, but I must admit I like the look of this one, because I'll show you now. I need a lid. It reminds me a little bit of a teapot, you know, if I had a lid on. I don't know why, that just tickles me. Now let's go against the grain again here. I'd love to know your thoughts on the Prismatic razor if you have one. I really am finding this quite aggressive. Now, I previously would have said that I quite like an aggressive razor. I certainly love my Muller R41, my Gillette 1928 to 1931 razor. Is you know, is really great, but this, I'm just being very careful with it because it's just a little bit aggressive for me. I can't remember which way I went last time. Did I go that way? Oh, I think so. Let's try this way. You know, I used a treat blade the other day. I haven't got one in here. Carbon steel treat blade, you know, the ones with the black blades. Come out of Pakistan. Now, we used this razor, so it could have been this, but I don't think it was. I feel like the razor blade had some sort of coating that affected my face. It felt very, very swollen around here, and I just wondered if anyone else had experienced that. It's an odd thing, and I wasn't sure, I really wasn't sure that is even a thing, but so maybe in a few days I will try again with the treat. There we are, I think that will do. If I chase smoothness, it will make me sore. Oh, nearly dropped that. There we are, let's put that up there. Now I'm just going to rinse the scuttle so I can show it to you while I discuss my final thoughts. I'll just tip the water out. It is recommended that once you finish using the scuttle, you drain the water from it and leave it to dry for at least 3 hours to completely dry the inside. Now, I must admit, it's been very functional. I've quite enjoyed using it. It's an entirely new experience, but a very nice one nonetheless. So in conclusion, I think it's pretty good, to be honest. It's got a rubber stopper, which, as you saw when I tipped it up and there was water in it, certainly stopped the water coming out. It's recommended that you put it in and twist it to make a good seal there. I found that the ridges worked very well indeed, and I also found that the depth of the bowl stopped the lather from coming up over the top. It was very easy to keep the lather in the bowl. I found it a little bit small in the bottom for the brush to get going, so I think next time I use it I'll spread that soap more around the sides than right on the bottom. I found it's very functional. It certainly is lightweight, and it would maybe take up a little bit of room in your hand luggage or your luggage, but it would not add any weight to your luggage, so certainly you could easily take that on holiday with you. Very good indeed. I've enjoyed using it. It comes with a neoprene little coat, so that if you're out somewhere, maybe camping, I don't know, you can keep the water in your scuttle warm. It's a nice idea. It's not for me, but I don't need it here in the bathroom, but it's a very nice idea. It comes with a microfiber bag as well, so you can just sling it in the bag, and that usually bag to dry it off. So all in all, there are lots of really good ideas in the scuttle. It is very light, as I say. My only slight negative is perhaps it's not the most stylish thing that I've ever seen in my life, but it certainly is very good, and I'm very pleased to have it in my den. I shall enjoy using this and experimenting it, trying it with different, really hot water and not so hot water to see which I like best. And I can't wait till the summer to see if it works with chilled water I think that would be really interesting. So that is the PAA Travel Scuttle, and hit or miss, I think it's a hit. Now, just to finish off with, I'm just going to put a little bit of cooling post-shave balm on by Nivea. One of the usual suspects. So it is quite late here, so I don't want to put anything on that really smells too strongly or takes away from the smell of the soap, because that Atmotic is a lovely soap. And I tell you what, I've had a very, very close shave again. And I think using that technique of a slightly different angle for the different passes has helped me. I think that really works well with an aggressive razor. Now, that's all for this evening. So thank you very much for being with me. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed, well, perhaps you would, and I can see you more often. You take care of yourselves, and I shall see you next time. And until then, shave on. All the best to you. Bye-bye.